Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Invictus Racing League IRL PlayStation F1 League with myself, Gareth Hall, in the commentary box, soon to be joined. He's a bit distant now, he's not quite here just yet, but he'll be soon. Will be Alan Sabatino, who'll be joining us in just a few moments. He's currently part of the lucky fan base that are getting a behind the scenes preview of the new McLaren MCL 35. But whilst I just have you here, we are here for the third round of the season here at the PlayStation F1 League, the premier class of Invictus Racing League, and we will be emanating from the Sochi Autodrome. And just as I enter the start the stream, in he comes, and fresh from joining us from what feels like the 2020 McLaren launch is Sab. And how are you doing, Sab? Good evening, mate.
Yeah, good evening, Gareth. Yes, a bit late, but at least I've managed to arrive just in time. And this evening we're, I don't know what you've said so far, Gareth, but tonight we're entering into a race after what was, I thought, a thoroughly enjoying race last week, wasn't it, Gareth? And there were so many talking points, we could spend the next hour or so just talking about them.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a lot that happened after the end of the Australian Grand Prix, and but we shan't dwell on it. We shall move forward, and we will make our way on to round three, where we do see some shakers, some movers, some changes in the field. One of those being the return, Sab, of Hercules, a name that we haven't seen on the grid since the end of Season 10 in that last race showdown with Jumperline for the title. Great to see Hercules back in the league, and this time teaming teaming with Harry, moving into the Renault seat.
Yeah, that has the makings of a stellar partnership, doesn't it? If we can get the Hercules back, what we've seen fighting, like you say, with John Palainen into the final round a few seasons ago, we get that Hercules, and we get Harry as well, who's looked absolutely superb so far this season. Well, this team is looking really mouth-watering. It remains to be seen if we do get that Hercules, because I can imagine there's probably a little bit of ring rust there. He's not raced as much in recent months, so be interested to see how he gets on this evening around this circuit where we discussed, didn't we, back in Mexico, how that run down to turn one is a bit like Russia. Well, we're in Russia now, and if you're in that middle pack or just behind Podium, the pole position place, then I think you're at an advantage.
Yeah, and it's going to be, as you say, a fascinating qualifying session. Last season, pole position went the way of CRG Game at 62, the two-time reigning champion that will be relinquishing his title at the end of this one. He took pole position on the soft tyres in the time of 1 minute 29.603. Now, we've heard rumblings that some of the drivers have been beating that time in practice, so we'll see if that comes to fruition in about 20 minutes' time when we head to the grid and find out who's lining themselves up on those elusive front two rows of the grid. As you say, first row of the grid, maybe not always the ideal position here. You do get a lovely tow from row 2, perhaps even row 3. But it was Gamer on pole last time around. He had Harry alongside him, a 1:29.706. Watch out for Harry, the season's favourite for the championship. Well, I would have said that, the season's favourite for the championship. However, coming into this week, it's JCol, Sab, leading the championship after a stellar Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, I have to say, I think I can speak on your behalf as well. Going into round three, I did not envision JCol being in the lead of the championship, and I probably have to say he probably didn't expect it either, but he has driven superbly and consistently in the first two races, and he took advantage of some mishaps throughout the field and just got away in the end. He did have a little bit of a battle with his teammate, but in the end it was a pretty comfortable race for JCol, and all it has to be, I think, is keep that consistency, and you'll be able to fight and really push for that championship. So JCol, a minute, thoroughly deserves to be sat at the top of the championship right now.
Yeah, he does indeed, and looking to see what he can do. He actually said last week that this is one of his favourite tracks on the calendar as well, so fascinating to see if he can extend that lead, or Harry, who famously before this season was not really able to get it hooked up in qualifying, had only taken one pole position in around about 26, I think it was about 26 races, and he's taken the first 2 of the season. So will Harry make it 3 in a row? Will he get knocked off that pole position slot by JCol or someone else? Of course, we've got a few other drivers apart from Hercules rejoining the league. We see the return of the elusive man. It's Samu Pepito. Samu makes his return into the IRL League and gets into the car that he's been eyeing up for the past 3 years, it seems. He's got himself a seat in the Ferrari. Samu, in fact, Sab, is a former winner here. His first ever win in Invictus back in Season 8 was here at the Russian Grand Prix. And he was on the podium that time around with FPL Charlie in second and Harry back in third place. So Harry yet to taste victory here in Russia.
Yeah, you talk of Samu, as we see nice blue skies here at the Sochi Autodrome. Samu, I think on his day, he is really quick. He can not be beaten, but it's just finding that consistency, isn't it, with him? And it'd be interesting, like what I said about Hercules, it'd be interesting to see what he's like turning up in this race. Will there be any ring rust there? But he's got that car, like you say, the Ferrari he wanted. So he needs to take advantage of that now. I know we're on equal footing around here, but he needs to take advantage of it now and really show why he wanted that Ferrari and what he's worth.
Yeah, very much so. But welcome everyone joining us this evening. My name is Gareth, joined as always on a Monday evening by Alan Sabatino. You can find me at GT2_driving on Twitter. You can find Sab at Alan Sabatino. Of course, you can find all about Invictus Racing League by going to invictusracingleague.com. Get yourself on the grid. Still some spaces left in some of the leagues that we run here from a Monday through to Thursday on all 3 gaming platforms. We've got 2 leagues on the PC, 2 leagues on the Xbox, and plenty on the PlayStation. There's Racing Point just slamming to the ground there before releasing from Bando Biz. So Bando clearly in a hurry to get out there, but you can see a stack of cars coming out on circuit. We've got one of the Alpha Tauris, it looks as though, that's made his way out first, and one of the Renaults as well. So plenty of drivers out there, possibly, Sab, looking for a little bit of a sneaky tow from one of their rivals.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of towing in effect this evening. Yeah, I even saw that with Bando Biz. It caught me off guard a little bit then. I thought, that can't really do that car the world of good, but he's on his way, and at the moment, just checking the tyre status of everybody looking like they're going to get straight down to business here, and they're all running on the soft tyres. Nobody opting at the moment to try and run on the medium tyre just to see where they go at the moment, but quite a few people on their outlap, and like you say, I suspect there'll be some sneaky tows happening in the next few minutes.
Yep, we're here at the Sochi Autodrome, the 3rd round of the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation. It is a 5.8 kilometre circuit, 3.36 miles. It's the 3rd longest on the F1 calendar. Distance to turn 1 is well, it's quite a while. It says 450 metres, but that's actually to the kink of turn 1. Down to turn 2 is an extra 520 metres on that. The longest straight is around about 650 metres from the exit of turn 1 down towards turn 2, where the top speeds will be hitting upwards of 210 to 215 miles an hour. Full throttle, 60% of the lap around here, with ERS demands are relatively low. These guys can save, especially in this tight and twisty 3rd sector, but watch out, gear changes, not too many, 40 over the lap distance. That makes over a 50% race this evening, 2,120 times those guys will be shifting up and down on those pedals, or the paddles I should say, behind the wheel. Of course, these guys all running no assist, some running the line, some not, and well, it's the yellow in sector 3 as everyone bunches up trying to look for a go down towards turn 1. Currently on board with Bando Biz in the Racing Point. Had a couple of good qualifying results so far this season, and Bando back in the first race of the season in Mexico, very impressive indeed in qualifying. Unfortunately got tagged at T1, fell to the back of the order, but definitely one to watch out for this season. Bando much improved from what we've seen last time he was here in F1.
Yeah, I agree. He's shown good pace, and behind Harry at that point, there was looking like a real gaggle of cars, wasn't there, that could really push for podium places. Another one of them who I'm keeping an eye on is Rudy, and Rudy had a good race last time out in Australia. It was a bit of a mismatch race, though, in some aspects, because you thought we thought at one point he was completely out of it, but then safety cars came into play, and he managed to get himself back onto the podium. So I'm keeping an eye on Rudy just to see how he gets along on his first flying lap in his Red Bull.
just on board with the returning MNT Hercules as he comes into the third section. Now very easy to get the car from underneath you in this off-camber corner towards the final few corners, turn 15 and turn 16. It just peels off to the right-hand side. Very easy to bottom the car out, especially these guys, they have to feather their way across the throttle. Gets a little bit of a snake on exit of the penultimate corner and goes way, way wide, but it does a 1:29.820. So good lap, but maybe it'll take about a tenth or so off that if he just takes that final corner just a little bit tighter. Beastas does a 1:30 flat, 1:30.035. Rudy, as you say, with 1:30.222, and Scopefielder putting himself up into the 29s. So 1:29.984, which is dramatically better. I'm just going back through my notes from last season of Scopefielder's time here last season. So yeah, good time there from Scope. Currently provisionally in second position is Monster Blue, making his first appearance, Sab, a 1:29.7. Great lap there to start with the DXT driver.
Yeah, most definitely, and I'm actually been looking forward to seeing how Monster Blue does in this league. We've been teased about how quick he is. I didn't see much of him last season in F2, but came into this league and then we were delayed on seeing his pace, and so far he's looking pretty handy in that McLaren. I was just keeping an eye on Foxy Red, and Foxy Red has proven that this track can be quite difficult to get caught out on, and he has invalidated his first run. So Foxy Red, I don't know if he'll be going for another run. It looks as if he will be. So yeah, this track can catch you out around certain parts, and you want to be careful, don't you? Because you run a slightly bit wide round here and it'll bite you, and that'll be the lap invalidated.
Yeah, Foxy Red, who looks to his left in his garage and finds a new teammate in Scopefielder, who makes the jump out of the Williams team. So Burmeister probably woke up in the morning and realised he had an empty side to the bed of him. So unfortunately Scopefielder makes the move over to Alfa Romeo and teams back up with his teammate from last season, Foxy Red 2000. Currently Scope in third position. Foxy Red, as you say, invalidating his first time around here. And it's one thing that we might see a lot through qualifying and as well through the races. Hercules goes quicker. He does manage to do a 1:29.820, a second lap it seems for Hercules. But yeah, it's one of those things that you usually see around here at Russia. Penalties becoming an issue later in the race.
Yeah, unfortunately that is the case around here. When those tyres start to go off and mistakes start happening, you can find yourself quite easily picking up a few time penalties, and that's one thing. If you can keep on top of those time penalties, maybe only pick up one or at best none, then you can find yourself at the end jumping up 2 or 3 places. So it's all in your favour to try and stick between them lines. I know that is self-explanatory, and it's probably easier said than done, because Russia can be quite tricky and quite hard on those tyres. But Foxy Red is coming back round. He's going to cross the line and he jumps into 7th place. That's 2 laps on those soft tyres with 1:30.337.
I do often speak to Foxy, and he tells us that his first few laps are just sight as he goes out there and just sees what the track conditions are like, what the tyre is going to give him in terms of grip. So expect to see him go a little bit faster. I just need to correct myself. Of course, you can probably see on stream we have got a bit of a visual glitch with Hercules' fastest lap time staying on screen. So he hadn't gone any faster. It's still Monster Blue leading this one away with a 1:29.749. But Harry now out on a flyer. Now we're going to go on board with the man currently in second in the championship, and that's something that we're used to saying about Harry. But let's see what he can do. The pressure's on, Harry. You're on TV. Let's see as he hugs the inside line around that tight turn 2 to turn 4. And you can see the driver that has spent a lot of time in the off-season, as we've said in the opening few rounds, just honing his craft, getting faster, and to his credit, has done so. Been picking up some very good results in the early start of, or the early part of this season. And, well, he's going to be looking at dipping around about, you've got to think, that sort of pole time of a 1:29.6, perhaps even faster. We know that he's been putting in, sometimes he said a 1:29.5 is something that he was pulling out earlier. So, Harry, DRS now open as he makes his way down through the kinks at turn 11 into turn 12, the heavy braking zone, the heaviest braking zone on the lap at turn 13, into the start of the third section. Now it's time to go all technical, making sure you're not being too heavy-footed on the throttle and equally on the brake. Of course, no ABS for these guys. Yellow flag in the third sector for the Alfa Romeo, but it shouldn't affect Harry as he comes up to the penultimate corner. making sure you take the apex, a little bit of a kiss of a lock up there from the front right, and into the final corner. Don't run out too wide as he turns onto the grass and across the line. He does a 29.6, but once again from Harry, just that final corner, we saw it happen to him last season here as well. That final corner, just catching him out, a 129.6 though, great banker lap.
It is a great banker lap, and I'm just keeping an eye on JCol, and JCol has come across the line into 4th place, but I can imagine he will go quicker because he had a heap load of traffic in front of him that he had to negotiate through. Mobile chicanes in a way. One of them was MNT Hercules. He managed to get out of the way just, but I imagine it could have distracted him slightly, so I think JCol has got more timing in there, but it's a good first lap for him. It's slotting into 4th.
And we're now watching on board with Beastas, and Beastas in the AlphaTauri, who unfortunately got collected in a spin that Harry had last week in Australia, and it dropped him to the back of the field and he ended up retiring. So Beastas unhappy with Harry, but the two kissed and made up afterwards. It was unfortunately, it was just Harry just having one of his things and just losing it on the exit of turn 2. But Beastas, unfortunately, looking as though, as he uses a lot of the entry curve there, lucky to get away with that one. But Beastas looking in the early stages like he's got the pace to be fighting up at the front. Let's see if he can hold with it in this this Russian car park of this Sochi Autodrome as we make our way around the Olympic site. But down with the DRS assisted, down towards the heavy braking zone at turn 13 goes Beastas. And if you're watching, guys, let us know who do you think is going to get pole this evening. Always good to hear from you. And equally, if you are enjoying it, always does help us out mega to give a like on the video. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe to IRL. Plenty more racing throughout the week here in Invictus through all 3 gaming platforms. PlayStation have got equal performance leagues through F1 to F4, and then equally the Realistic Performance League on a Thursday night. We can have PC, F1 and F2, and of course the Xbox's Beastas does take 0.2 of a second off his time, 9,000ths off of Hercules in 3rd.
I was just keeping an eye on Bando Biz, and Bando Biz was the last person to set a time, and he has set a time of a 1:30.470, and did slot him into 12th place, but it's just been nudged back down into 13th place. So work there for Bando Biz. But look how tight, Gareth, that time is in the 130s from Paul Racetech 131 all the way down to, say, Finn Marcus with 130.5. You've got only 0.4 of a second. It just shows you, doesn't it, how tight that really is. And you make up 2 or 3 tenths in the next 6 minutes or so. You could find yourself jumping a heap load of places for the start of this race. So that's what I'm really enjoying so far about this season, how tight that midfield pack is, and it really is starting to give us some great racing.
Just going through the field, trying to find someone that's not invalidated a lap. It looks as though everyone's struggling out there on the circuit this evening to get to grips with the track limits. We're on board with Finn Marcus. It's someone that we haven't seen so much this season. Finn hasn't really started the season in the way that he kind of hoped for, but the Mercedes driver in the 3rd sector now. We'll see if he can improve on this 1:35.48, which has him round about just under a tenth slower than Bando in 15th position. 16 on the grid. That means that there's still potentially some slots for yourself to get involved, so make sure you get to Invictus Racing League and sign up to be on the grid in F1. Plenty of seats and reserve seats. There we go, Finn Marcus, much better time from the Mercedes there, 1:30 flat, puts himself well into the top 10 in 7th position.
That is an impressive time, and hopefully for his sake he can kick-start his he's just collected the wall there, Finn Marcus. I just flicked onto him, and he's very lucky not to have took himself out of qualifying then. He's got pretty much no front wing left. He's collected the wall somewhere. I only flicked over and there was bits of debris everywhere, and I don't know what happened there, but luckily for Finn Marcus, he's still in this. I'm just trying to, like yourself, keep an eye on some of the people on track who haven't invalidated, and I'm just going to keep an eye on, no, in fact, Andre is bailed out of it as well. So at the moment, people in this latter stages of qualifying find it a bit difficult.
Yeah, just pushing a little bit too hard. So we'll see what the Renault drivers do. They're on out laps at the moment. Harry's coming up to the penultimate corner, so he's about to set his second flying lap, and will probably be his last, with only 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in this one. One more chance for Harry to dip around the 1:29.5. He just needs to get that final corner right, so we'll stick with the man currently second in the championship, to JCol, your pole sitter for the first 2 rounds of the season, hoping to make it a hat-trick of pole positions to add to his 1 that he picked up in Abu Dhabi back in Season 10. And what can he do as he hugs that inside line around turn 3, using a lot of lateral movement in the car to work in his aid, and that's an invalidation from Harry. So unfortunately it looks as though, unless he's going to come, he's going to have to race back to the pit lane now if he's going to try and come back out, but it's going to be a race against time. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this one. Harry though under threat if he can't come in and get back out, which is going to be mighty tight, then potentially Monster Blue could snatch this one.
Yeah, and Harry's teammate Hercules is currently out on his next flying run, looking clean so far. I'm just keeping an eye on his first sector. Is he going any quicker at all? He is going quicker by 3/100ths of a second. So Hercules at the moment could find himself making it an all Renault 1-2, and what an introduction, what a way to announce your comeback if he could get right along his teammate in the first race back here at IRL. So Hercules at the moment is going to go down that long back straight and it keeps it nice and clean here. I'm sure Hercules will at least find himself second, maybe even topping Harry's time.
Yeah, Hercules with that most unwanted record of most amount of race wins in a season without taking the championship, when he lost by just a few points to Jumper Line. I believe he took 5 wins that season, perhaps even more. I think it was 5 off the top of my head, but he'll be looking at coming back with a bang. But he's only improved over that last sector by 15 thousandths of a second, so he's going to have to push hard. We know that he went wide last time around. Does he keep on the circuit this time? He does, and wow, straight to the top goes Hercules of 29.582, beating the time of CRG Gamer last season and snatching pole position away from his teammate Harry.
That was impressive. Like you say, he didn't look like he was going to have anything to say about that final sector. He was marginally quicker, but it didn't look like he was going to beat his teammate. So huge last final few corners there for Hercules, and the pressure's now on his teammate. And can even Monster Blue or even B-Staff say anything about it? I'm just keeping an eye on TTG Nathan in the Haas. He's 3/10 up at the moment, down in 13th place, a 1:30.369 currently. So 3/10. So if he makes any more time up in his last few sectors, he can find himself jumping right up into that top 10. So Nathan now coming around that final few corners. Can he keep it clean, keep it on the track? No invalidations here. Can he keep it nice and tidy? He does. Cross the line into 8th place. It's a decent lap there from Nathan, 1:30.089.
Yep, Nathan, if that stays the same, would be his best qualifying of the season so far. So far he's lined up in 13th and in 10th position. And out of the box, I believe, that comes Harry. So Harry now on a race against time, but it's not going to happen. He's not going to get to the line before the end of qualifying, surely, as he's going to have to absolutely burn through that battery to get there. But let's see who else we've got on the circuit. JCol in validation in 5th position at the moment. We've got we've got Monster Blue. Beastas is equally on a flyer side by side with one of the Red Bulls as they fight over position. One of the Red Bulls there just trying to stay to the inside. They're racing each other up to the line to try and get there in time. We've only got 35 seconds left to go in the session. Who's going to win this battle? It looks as though Beastas for the moment has managed to get ahead of, I believe it's Rudy, as the pair of them squabble over position. It's starting to get very busy. We've got just over 20 seconds to go for a number of drivers to cross the line. And Beastas is going to make it with 16 seconds left to go, and Beastas crosses the line, and we're going to see a flurry of cars coming across the line very, very shortly to start their last flying laps. Sam, who are you on board with?
I was on board with Schofield there, and it was a nice lap, and it's promoted him into 4th spot with a 1:29.760. 3/10, about 3/10 he made up, so that's a solid lap there for the Alfa Romeo driver. Yeah, as you say, Harry, I don't think is going to make it. He hasn't made it, so this has been a bit of a disaster for Harry. He won't be getting pole position. He comes across the line, and that is it. So unless, Monster Blue as well is not going to make it either. So this is Hercules' his pole position, and what a way to come back from him for him in this league on a Monday night. But what on earth's happened there, Gareth? I'm just flabbergasted at what Harry and Monster Blue have done there, because surely they should have realised the clock was ticking down and they were running out of time.
Yeah, huge communication error between the timing guys and the guys in the cockpit, because as you can see, time has expired and currently Hercules crosses the line. Well, having crossed the line, has done a 1:29.582. Currently holds provisional pole. Now, what can anyone else do about it? We've got Beastas, who's still on a flyer. He's coming into the final few corners now, into turn 13. Can Beastas get himself involved in the front 2 rows of the grid? We'll see in just a few moments' time as he enters the penultimate corner of the lap. Into the final corner. Can he get himself up into the front row? He's going to absolutely cane it across the line and snatches pole position from Hercules. What a lap there from Beastas, and we're now going to have a car park on the exit of the final corner because Beastas has put it in the wall. But wow, he's done it in some style, absolutely taking it from underneath Hercules by just under half a tenth.
Wow. Well, he's just have to made me cross Hercules' name out in my little notebook there, because I did not anticipate that at all. What a lap that was from Beastas. I just flicked it over at that last few corners, and Harry, I don't know what's going off here. My times have all gone a bit skewish, but Monster Blue has gone fastest with Harry jumping up ahead of Hercules. Is this same happening to you? But they'd already crossed the checkered flag, so I don't know quite what's happening here, Gareth.
Yes, I think that we may have seen some guys taking advantage of something that we know within the game of being able to set a time after the checkered flag had gone, because Monster Blue, out of the blue, we'll use that one whilst it's new, but a 1:29.361 from the McLaren. Well, we thought Beastas had taken pole position legitimately, but Monster Blue stays out there and gets up into provisional pole. Harry, as you say, jumping up back ahead of his teammate. So we've got an all Renault second row of the grid, but it's Monster Blue in his first race in the season, after missing the first 2 rounds, taking pole position by a monumental margin, almost 0.2 of a second ahead of Beastas.
Yeah, that completely flabbergasted me there. I'm not going to lie, Gareth. I did not anticipate that at all. But what a lap that was from Monster Blue. We've been waiting for Monster Blue to arrive, and he certainly has. That is a superb lap in the end, and what a lap it was as well from Beastas.
Yeah, it was indeed. Great to see a new front row from the Welshman Monster Blue and Beastas, who would have thought that he had pole position, but snatched away at the final stage there by Monster Blue. Harry moving back up ahead of Hercules, but he can't make it 3 in a row. Only third is for Harry. Hercules in his return in 4th. JCol, current championship leader, in 5th. Scopefielder in 6th, with Rudy 7th. Marcus inside the top 10 in 8th, with Nathan in 9th. Paul Racetech in 10th, with TL44S, Andre, Roy, Foxy. Another dismal session there for Foxy, Burmeister, and Bando Biz rounding out the grid. So yeah, we will find out. I've just been told that potentially we might see that the guys actually crossed the line before the checkered flag, and we haven't been. We see it otherwise. So we will have to find out. I'm sure we'll be told reliably by the drivers after this one if they've been good or naughty. But for now, it is Monster Blue on pole position. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying qualifying so far. If you are, make sure you drop into the comments. Let us know who you're supporting tonight, who you're watching. Who do you think will take this one? Overcast now at Sochi for the race session. We're expecting it to be overcast for the race. And if you are enjoying it, make sure you press like on the video. Really, really does help us out. And always, keeps my ego up at a maximum, so it's always good to see you guys enjoying it. But no, it does help out the channel massively, guys, and helps us get pushed through that pesky YouTube algorithm. So do all the good stuff you do on the socials, and if you're not subscribed already, make sure you do. Always does get you able to be able to see some more classic and epic racing, to use some extra words there, but throughout the week through all 3 gaming platforms: PS, Xbox, and of course the PC. Now, Sab, what are we expecting of this one? We were talking earlier in the stream about the fact that pole position isn't always the best place to be here in Russia, because you can see a huge tow from those on the second row. So Hercules and Harry have got to be sitting there thinking they're still with a shot of leading this one by turn 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's, even though you're always frustrated as a driver, aren't you, if you're challenged for that pole position and you don't quite get it, but in Russia, might favour you not to get the pole position, as we've said many times, and Harry and Hercules will be sitting there on the second row rubbing their hands, I imagine, because they'll be able to get a nice tow off the cars ahead, and you'd have to probably, one of the very few times, favour the second row over the first row. So this is going to be fascinating going down to turn 2, how these guys approach it. But Monster Blue, he's impressed me so far. I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on when it comes to racecraft. He's often spoken about how mighty quick he was in F2, so this will be a real test for him, won't it, racing alongside the likes of Hercules and Harry as well. This will be a completely different kettle of fish for him, so this is absolutely fascinating. You can't rule out Beastas either, because Beastas has shown phenomenal pace so far this season and been dreadfully unlucky, so could tonight go some luck his way? Who knows? We're just lining up on the grid now, Gareth. It almost looks like it's about to rain, but we've been reliably informed that it's not going to.
No, it doesn't. It does look like we might get a few spots, but yep, a little bit of blue sky poking through the clouds here over by the Black Sea, the southwest of Russia, down in Sochi, a tourist destination all year round, skiing and of course the beaches in the summer. But it will be, as you can see, up leading this one, the McLaren Beastas in second position from the Renaults of Harry and of Hercules. JCol in 5th position with Scopefielder in 6th, Rudy in 7th with Finn Marcus 8th, TTG Nathan in 9th with Paul Racetech in 10th, and that's a dreaded position, 10th position, using the soft tyres that he used in qualifying, whereas TL4S just one position behind him, fresh tyres, and Andre 12th, Royboy 13th, Foxy Red 14th, Burmeister and Bando rounding out the grid 15th and 16th position.
Yeah, and so I was just reading, we've not got Samu Pepito in with us this evening. I didn't realise we spoke about him. I was looking to see where he was, and we don't have him, unfortunately, here this evening racing. So yeah, it's just 16 drivers on the grid here this evening, and just further down, we spoke just then about that second row maybe battling for the lead. Is there anybody else further down the second row that, like JCol or even Scopefield, you think could really challenge not only for the race victory but maybe even a podium?
I think it's a good shout for the majority of the top 10 that can get themselves in there. Rudy, we saw last week in Australia, had a fantastic race. JCol, of course, Scopefielder can always pop up. You never quite know what we're going to get from Scopefielder these days. He's, of course, a 3-time champion here in Invictus. But then outside the top 10, of course, you've got the guys that have started on fresh tyres, Roy Boy, Burmeister and Bando, medium rubber. They've gone for a differing strategy. So it can all play out. We know that safety cars and VSCs can play a factor here. We know that penalties will definitely come into play, and with Monster Blue rounding the final corner, about to take his allotted grid slot with a clear track down towards that slight kink at turn 1, well, he's going to be looking in his mirrors almost immediately. Will we see the Renaults as a tour de force down this first straight, down into the second corner, making that move? Harry, he's got a lot of work to do from third on the grid. He's got a couple of overtakes to do without some DRS, which is not what we're used to seeing from him. He's usually out in the lead, not having to worry about anything. But here we go, ready for the third round of the season here for the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation. It's Monster Blue on pole position. What can he do from it as they wait to leave the grid? We can see it's a long pause as we get going, and we're still going to sit here waiting. And there we go, finally we're underway, and it's a good start there from the McLaren. Sweeps across in front of Beastas, but here comes the train. Watch out for the Renaults, watch out for JCol in 5th position, got the outside line, but you can see the McLaren just about holding on there, but here comes the Renault around the outside of Beastas, not quite able to do it. Will we see contact from anyone behind? You can see one of the AlphaTauris taking to the runoff area, but it looks as though we've got everyone free and able to make their way around turn 2, and back into the race goes the AlphaTauris. Dropped down to TL4S, dropping down from 11th into 13th, but good getaway from Monster Blue holding the lead.
It was absolutely perfect from him. Same for Beastas as well. The pressure he was on from Harry trying it round the outside, as you say, and Beastas holding on to that second place. So yeah, they were all pretty much well behaved, weren't they, Gareth? There, I was expecting. You've seen it in real F1, haven't you? With some incidents on the opening lap, and they all got round there pretty nicely indeed. And we've just got both the Red Bulls quite close behind the Renault, so both of the Red Bulls, a good start for them. But yeah, Harry, he needs to try and hang on to Beastas, doesn't he? And doesn't let these two get away. But I've just seen Monster Blue slight lock up there, so Beastas will be keeping an eye on that McLaren.
Yeah, and this is the circuit where staying in DRS is absolutely key. We saw it last season when it was a crazy battle between the Williams and the Mercedes COG Gamer 62 and Sam Bam Kid and Scott Bugner, as you can see behind there. I believe that was Foxy Red trying to get to the inside of Nathan, but not able to get the move done. But around the first lap goes Monster Blue and Beastas. But yeah, formerly in last season's race, round 11 of the season, it was Sam Bam Kid that took the win. But all the way through that one, we had the Williams chasing the Mercedes, unable to get a move done. They held position from lap 12 to 27, as we've got two in the pit lane already. Roy out of the race and TL44S into the box. You can see him. He went to the escape road at turn 2 on lap 1, and unfortunately onto a set of hards early on in this one. So not a great start for TL44S.
No, he picked up heavy front left end plate damage, and unfortunately he just couldn't go on. And with damage like that on a front wing around a track like this, it can really hurt you. So unfortunately for TL4S, he's probably going to have to rely on a safety car to pull him back into this race. But he just got to stick at it, hasn't he? We've seen what a safety car can do for people last week, so TL4S now just got to keep his head down on those hard tyres and focus on his race. But just further ahead, it looks like Monster Blue is starting to eke his way a bit of a gap over Beastas. It was 6-7 tenths of a second at the moment, with Harry not too far behind Beastas. So at the moment, it looks like these guys are starting to just stretch their legs a little bit, but Beastas is doing well to hang on into that crucial under second mark to get the DRS on the next lap.
Yeah, you can see at the moment as TL44S unfortunately his evening goes from bad to worse on lap 2 of 27, already picks up 3 seconds as Monster Blue sets the fastest lap, 1:34.196. So currently the race leader, as DRS is now enabled. So now this is where we might see some overtakes, but as I was just about to say, everyone within DRS of each other. No one has dropped out of that 1 second mark. So there's Paul Racetech making a move on the Mercedes of Finn Marcus. The two are going to go side by side through turn 2. There's a little bit of contact between the pair of them, wheel banging into turn 3, and that's going to open the door for Bando to go around the outside. He's on the medium compound, so he's not going to have the same grip in the early phases as the Mercedes, but they're still going to go for it. And in fact, Bando's going to go round, and he gets collected by Burmeister. Burmeister almost gets into the side of the racing point, and luckily for the Dutchman, it looks as though he's just about managed to get out of that one, but he's now dropped outside of DRS of his teammate up ahead. So Burr, who was unfortunately was running towards the back, and he's going to lose it straight into the wall, and Burr unfortunately just too much power there as well, so he's going to get caught out. And luckily the ghost of Bando goes straight through him there. But well, that was a bit messy from both the Mercedes and Bando.
It was a bit, unfortunately, and it's cost them heavily, hasn't it? I believe Burmeister has a lot of front wing damage as well. I don't believe Bando did pick up any wing damage, which is good for him, but the problem is now he's on those medium tyres, 8 seconds already behind 12th place Finn Marcus.
Yeah, and I know that the Burmeister fan club, the Burbus, would not be happy with that one. They asked for a little bit more TV time for the guys towards the back, but unfortunately, on TV they got a little bit nervous, and unfortunately puts it in the wall. He's going to have to box this lap. But well, now we've got a few moves being lined up. Will we see Foxy Red 9th position chasing down Nathan for 8th place? Up ahead you can see Beastas closing in on Monster Blue for the lead, and they're still bringing Harry and Hercules along with them. You can see everyone down to Andre has got DRS, so the DRS train is very much in motion. And well, Foxy very much thinking about the move on Nathan, just has a quick look to the inside, gets all out of shape on exit of turn 4 there, but manages to hold on to it. So Foxy with the afterburners on, a little bit too early on exit of the corner, but still holding on to 9th position.
I was just about to get on to JCol, and he's picked up a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately. I was just about to say JCol is just about hanging on to that DRS, but unfortunately through that penalty has dropped him a few tenths of a second, so it's dropped him outside of the DRS from Hercules. So that might give the likes of his teammate and potentially Schofield behind to close in on that Red Bull. But Hercules now is slowly starting to pull away from 5th place, and it looks like we're going to have a 4-way battle for the lead, because Monster Blue is under increasing pressure now, just 4/10 ahead of Beastas, and with the next DRS coming up, I imagine this is going to be a lot of defensive work from Monster Blue.
Yeah, this is as Burmeister then picks up 3 seconds. He's way down the order now after that movement into the wall. But well, is this deja vu for Harry? This is exactly where he sat just a few races ago, back in round 11 of last season, or not too many months ago. Sat in 3rd position for the majority of the race, just couldn't get a move done on the 2 leading ahead. So this time around, it's Monster Blue and Beastas. So Harry will be sitting there thinking, not this again. Will he, well, potentially, does he let his teammate through and let Hercules see if he can have a go at them? Will he be happy just to sit behind a pair of them and wait to get to the pit stop window and see if he can get an undercut or even an overcut if he's looked after those soft tyres? But you can see, as they are starting to hold that 1 second lead over JCol, so JCol just that 10th of a second outside of that DRS window. So the Red Bull did be desperately trying to get back in DRS so he can get dragged along by these leading quartet, but at the moment all he's doing is taking his teammate and Scopefielder for a ride in 6th and 7th position. TTG Nathan a 2.5 back, now with Foxy Red 2000 for company, and we'll go back on board with Foxy. It looks as though he's going to make a move on the Haas to the inside, coming into the heaviest braking zone on the lap, and Foxy now up into 8th position gets the move done.
Yeah, I was just watching that battle. It was a nice move in the end for Foxy Red. So Foxy now into 8th place behind his teammate, 2 seconds behind his teammate now, and it's a decent evening so far for the Alfa Romeo team. Schofield hanging on nicely to the back of Rudy, and I think, talking to Rudy, he's not I wouldn't say he's got grounds yet to complain to his team that his teammate is holding him up, because he's not quite close enough. But if he gets any closer, he's surely going to be getting on the radio and saying, move that car out my way, I am quicker. But just further ahead, Monster Blue has lost the lead. He's been overtaken from Beastas with DRS, and here comes Harry up the inside, and in the space of 2 corners, Monster Blue has lost the lead and he's down to 3rd. Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bump and run there from Beastas. He tried to go for the outside line, got the move done. It just unsettled the McLaren, and Harry was there just to pick up the spilling. So luckily for Harry, he in the right place at the right time, bakes his way out from 3rd into 2nd, and now has Monster Blue. Oh, Harry all out of shape there, just about manages to hold on to it. Now we know he's moved over to the Fanatec system in the last week, so he's still getting used to it. Perhaps a little bit heavy-footed there on the throttle pedal, but looks as though he's managed to hold on to it. But he can now put his eyes firmly set back on Beastas, but this time, instead of for 2nd position, it's for the lead. So currently Monster Blue going from being the hunted to the hunter. So Monster Blue, I'm sure, will be wanting to get back involved in this lead battle, but starting to get dropped a little bit by Harry. It's now up to half a second. He'll have Hercules all through his mirrors, and now behind them, this is starting to bring the Red Bulls back into play a little bit. You can see they got within a second, but now back up to 1.3. So JCol, as you say, potentially should think about swapping with Rudy and seeing if Rudy can catch up and taking his teammate with him. Yeah,
exactly. And with JCol, with that early penalty as well, we've got a yellow flag in sector 2, and it's unfortunately Burmeister is out of the race, unfortunately. So it's an early bath for Burmeister. Unfortunately, just not gone his way this evening, and he's retired. I believe it looks like, so according to the track map, that he's actually had a moment on the track. His car stopped on track, so I'm wondering whether we might even get a safety car from this. It's just before that long straight at the back end of the circuit, so there's still yellow flags out at the minute, and these guys in the lead are approaching that, but the flag, it's gone green. So yeah, unfortunately for I say for TL4 for us, there's no safety car, but fortunately for the guys at front, there isn't.
No, but also at the back of that, we've had an incident with Paul Racetech, who's managed to collect the wall. No front wing for that Ferrari at all. And yeah, now the VSC comes out. Michael Massey getting around to doing something at some point. But yeah, so VSC now neutralising the race. These guys having to drop down and follow the delta on their dashboards. So well, they can take stocks. Lap 7 of 27. So we're a decent chunk into the first stages of this race. VSC 4, I believe, for Paul Racetech's collision with the wall, a little bit of debris on the circuit, but yeah, as you say, Burmeister looks as though he'd lost it on exit of turn 9 into the wall, so Burr with 2 spins in the early stages, and into the box will come the lead 3, and into the back of Harry goes Monster Blue. So Monster Blue, well, not happy, and picks up a 5-second penalty for his collision with Harry under the VSC. Now, will Harry have picked up the same? Because we often know that we find both picking up, as Andre picks up a drive-through penalty, speeding into the pit lane. So everyone rushing into the pit box, and unfortunately, Monster Blue, he's now going to have a wing change to his name.
Yeah, it made me jump because I was riding on board with Monster Blue, and it just didn't look like he was going to stop, and he ended up stopping because he ran into the back of Harry. I don't know if Harry broke a bit earlier and caught Monster Blue out, but that is disastrous for Monster Blue, and it's actually dropped him behind JCol now. JCol firmly ahead of Monster Blue, 3.6, 3.7 seconds, so that's been disastrous for Monster Blue, and these last few laps, I don't know if that overtake from Beastas just ruffled his feathers somewhat, but Monster Blue just looks a bit ragged at the moment, just needs to calm himself down, and on lap 8 we've still got plenty of laps to go. Monster Blue just needs to get his head down and focus on catching up the likes of JCol and Harry.
Yeah, it almost felt like the Renault ahead was static going into pit lane. They were so slow, crawling their way in. Beastas and then Harry just seemed to catch the McLaren out, but he's now back out and back in the races, but he's got a bit of a, as you say, a bit of a gap between himself and JCol, and then Bando, Biz and Harry, and luckily for Harry, he's managed to get ahead and stay ahead of the racing point. Up ahead, we've got the battle between Foxy Red and the 2 Haas cars, and Foxy, having made his way past Nathan, is now in a fight, and in fact Andre's going to blink out of these 3. He's going to be into the box this lap, and in fact he's going to follow in Scopefielder, so the first of the Alfa Romeos making his way in, and Hercules makes his stops. Now where will we see Hercules filter out in this? Of course, Harry and the others coming in under the VSC. Hercules under green light, so he's now going to come around and come out to the pit stop line, but there goes Harry, so Harry is going to have a huge lead over his teammate once Hercules gets out the pit lane.
Yeah, and can JCol looks like he's even going to challenge here. Hercules, JCol with the full pace. Can Hercules hold on? He's going to stick to the inside, and just about Hercules, massive lock up here. Can JCol do anything about it to get past that Renault? It looks like Hercules is nothing to answer for here. JCol up the inside, superb move there from the Red Bull driver on Hercules, and Hercules tried his hardest to hold on to that position, and JCol made it work. He looked like he needed to get that move done, and he got it done just about, and JCol up into 8th place ahead of Hercules.
Yeah, JCol using those tyres to get up to temperature a little bit quicker than Hercules, and using that extra grip and up into what is currently 8th position, but I'm sure we'll see positions filter out. Of course, the first 4 drivers in Rudy, Foxy, Nathan, Marcus yet to stop off the soft rubber. Expect to see Foxy, I would imagine, in this time around as he comes up to the penultimate corner very, very shortly. His teammate Scopefielder stops last time around. Do we see Foxy in? No, Foxy staying out. Of course, he did start outside of the top 10, so he has fresh rubber, so he can go a few laps extra. Nathan doing the same, but into the box comes Rudy, the man that finished on 3rd position last week in Australia. Where will he come out in relation to his teammate? Of course, they were next to each other on circuit. JCol's coming around the final corner as Beastas and then Harry set fastest laps. Harry with 1:33.849. But yeah, his teammate, Harry's teammate Hercules, now way off the back of these guys. But Rudy coming out the box, and we've got a yellow in 6-3. Monster Blue retiring in the pit lane, it seems, so deciding not to take this one to the end.
I thought it was for an accident at first there, I'll be honest. I've seen it flash up saying Monster Blue is retired, but yeah, just I don't know what's happened there. He obviously must feel incredibly frustrated. Unfortunately, the early pace we've seen from Monster Blue has fizzled out quite quickly. It's a shame, really, because he definitely has got the pace and hopefully comes back stronger next week. I'm just keeping an eye on and staying on board with Hercules. Hercules is pressing JCol, and JCol is right on the back of Bando Biz. Bando Biz started on those medium tyres. So Bandobiz looking a bit worn compared to what JCol and Hercules would be. So JCol will be desperate to get the move done on Bandobiz here, and straight down the back straight goes JCol on Bandobiz, and Hercules will be hoping to try and follow. Hercules leaves it late, and yes, gets the move through, but JCol has run wide. JCol has run wide there, and I thought Hercules, it might have opened the door for Hercules here, and Hercules now really going to put the pressure on that Red Bull driver.
Yeah, Hercules, who picked up a penalty just a few corners ago, so that adds one penalty each to JCol and to Hercules, so it's not what the German wanted at all. Into the box does now finally come Foxy Red from the what was the lead with Nathan, and Malc is now into the box as well. But Hercules, with some DRS, should have a run on JCol as they filter out. JCol now in third position. Hercules will have that run on him, DRS assisted, a little bit of battery as they go down towards turn 2. Will the Renault go to the outside? Will he get the run into T3? He does. There you go, back up into third position goes Hercules. So JCol now has to go after Hercules after getting the move done after the pit lane. The pit stops earlier on, and he's going to have to start chasing down the German once again as they got past Bando on that last time around. Beastas leading this one from Harry. Harry 0.6 of a second behind the AlphaTauri. Will go on board with those guys very, very shortly as Bando picks up 3 seconds. He's currently in 5th position, yet to make a stop along with Andre. But yeah, you can see everyone's starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm. Monster Blue, as we were just saying, not able to do so. The F2 champion from last season. I believe last time here in F2 he'd lost it on his own and hit the wall. This time around it was perhaps aided by that penalty, but deciding against this one.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I find that frustrating personally, because I've briefly seen his pace, but just quickly break away from that a second. Foxy Red has really closed in on his teammate Schofield. I said a few laps ago it was about 3 seconds before the pit stop phase. Foxy Red has lured his teammate in no end down. It's down to 0.3 of a second. Schofield seemingly struggling a little bit on these medium tyres at the moment. Can't really close in on Andre. Andre's on 10 lap old soft tyres. Andre actually pits now, so Andre into the pit lane for his first stop. So yeah, Foxy Red here could look like he's about to breeze past his teammate, because Schofield doesn't look like he's probably going to fight this much. Why would he fight this much with his teammate? Yes, Foxy Red slots past into 7th place, and Schofield drops into 8th.
Seamless there from the two Alfa Romeos. Of course, they've worked with each other multiple times over the last few seasons, so they both, I'm sure, will be talking about it to each other. JCol, he's still fighting with Hercules, half a second behind his teammate Harry. His teammate Rudy, 1.6 seconds behind. Hercules' teammate Harry, as I tried to say, is about 6 seconds up the road. So that shows you just how much Hercules was hurt by that green light pit stop compared to the VSC pit stop that we saw Harry take. So I'm sure he'll feel slightly aggrieved with that. He's not only fallen outside of DRS, but he's fallen considerably outside of DRS, so he'll feel that he had a potential chance of fighting for the win, but now he's going to have to hope for perhaps even a safety car. But Harry, as you can see, a little bit of a lock-up from Beastas in second and first position as they fight over the lead. Beastas looking for his best result on the season so far. Of course, he started off the season quite nicely in Mexico, but he was unable to really bring it through to a decent result. He ended up finishing in 4th place, I believe came across the line in 3rd, but dropped down. But this time around, leading from Harry. Harry, of course, looking at picking up his 2nd win on the season. Picked up the win the first round of the season in Mexico, and he's now shaping up Beastas as they go through turn 1 in towards turn 2. And down the inside will go Harry BR25. Can he get it slowed down? He does, so nicely done. Nice move there from Harry up into the lead of this one on lap 13 of 27. Beastas unable to do the under and over and go around the outside of Harry. Harry's going to hold on to this one. Beastas is now going to have to sit with him and just try and stay inside Harry's DRS and let him drag him around the circuit. But so you can see, just let Harry make the mistakes, thinks Beastas. Just sit behind him, make him make the moves, and just pull out, perhaps to get into the mirrors of Harry, as Harry was doing to Beastas for the last few laps, and see if he can get Harry to use a little bit more tyre life in those medium compound.
Just further behind, I was expecting Hercules to start to stretch his legs and try and catch the top 2, but JCol has been superb and got the move done back on Hercules. So JCol now back into 3rd place here, and it's a good little battle between the Red Bull and the Renault drivers here. I don't think Hercules was kind of hoping to be in a battle like this. I think he was hoping to try and catch his teammate further ahead, but now it looks like he's firmly in this battle with JCol. He took advantage of the DRS nicely and got the move done. Hercules really couldn't do anything about it, so Hercules has dropped down into 4th place. Rudy, the JCol's teammate, just can't quite get himself in this battle for 3rd at the moment. He sits about 1.4 seconds behind.
Oh, Harry lost a whole load of speed on exit. It seems as though either he went super defensive early or put the power down too early on that Renault, got all out of shape, but it looks as though Beastash just hasn't quite been able to get as close as he wanted to. He's going to close right up on the entry to turn 2, but looks as though Harry will hold on to lead on lap 14 of 28, so we're over half distance here in the 3rd round of the season, the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation. Plenty more racing throughout the week here at IRL. Tomorrow night is the PlayStation F2 League with Phil and Malc in the commentary box, and equally the Xbox F1 League will be live streaming their race. Most likely the drivers will be live streaming their POVs of that one. Still waiting for a potential commentator, so if you'd like to be a commentator here in Invictus, get in touch with us. We've got plenty of spots in our PlayStation, PC and Xbox leagues where you can be a lead or a co-commentator. Get in touch with anyone on the socials. Wednesday evening we have the PlayStation F3 and F4 Equal Performance Leagues and the PC F1 and F2 League. So 2 platforms, PS and Steam on a Wednesday. Thursday evening is Realistic Performance Night. Different rules, different format, a lot of fun. Come and join Tim and Malc on the PlayStation for the PS Realistic Performance League and the Xbox Realistic Performance League as well. Will be racing that evening. And they'll all be here in Russia as before we head off to round 4 next week. And well, it'd be so dramatically different. We go from the Russian car park to the land of the rising sun over at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, you can't get much different tracks than that. I'm keeping an eye on this nice battle for 7th place. So Schofield had been dropped by Fox Red, and then Schofield really not enjoying these tyres. TTG Nathan has managed to get past him into 8th place, and TTG Nathan now is starting to slowly reel in Fox Red. So Nathan having a decent race so far in 8th place in that Haas. He's in a bit of an Alfa Romeo sandwich at the moment.
He is, and Foxy's dragging Nathan along, which probably... I'm sure Foxy won't be too happy that he'd rather be taking his teammate, but Schofield are unable to get past that Haas at the moment. Andre, unfortunately, has dropped a little bit further back. He's now in a fight with Paul Racetech. They're coming down towards turn 2. But back up at the front, you can see Beastas still only half a second behind Harry. JCol is now 6.5 seconds behind Beastas. And as you say, back up ahead of Hercules as the pair of them fight over the final step on the podium. And Sab, just as we'll talk about, obviously Harry came into the season as the championship favourite, but JCol this season, we talked very briefly earlier about the fact that he's been very impressive so far, but if he opens his account this season with 3 podiums in a row, he's got to be absolutely delighted with that.
Oh, most definitely. I'm sure he would have snatched your hand off if you'd have offered him that at the beginning of the season, and to be fighting with someone as Hercules' calibre and overtaking him, and at the moment holding his own. He's doing a stellar job at the moment. He's a little bit off the pace of the front 2, but that was due to the virtual safety car incident. But yeah, JCol has really impressed me so far. He's got good racecraft, good speed, and I'm sure if he could end tonight with that 3rd place, he'll be absolutely over the moon. I'm sure if we hear from him in the podium interviews after, he'd probably echo my sentiments, but he's got a lot of work to do, hasn't he, right now at the minute, because Hercules is sticking within that 3/4 tenths of him. So JCol, that 3rd place is not guaranteed just yet.
No, absolutely not. And as you say, he's got to keep Hercules behind, which is no mean feat at all. So it's Hercules, who of course the all-time race winner or record for most wins in a season in IRL F1. I believe joint with CLG Gamer 62, but Hercules in 4th position in this one. And I actually had an unaired interview I did with Harry before the season season where he said that he would easily beat Prime Hercules, and I thought, God, that would be a fun fight to see. Hercules, when he was on fire in season 10, in fact, Hercules is now going to the inside of JCol. In fact, it shows him the door on exit. Oh, there's contact, and JCol goes around. JCol trying to stay with Hercules. You could see he got shoved to the outside line, tried to stay in the inside line, and in fact, he's going to lose 2 positions. One to Rudy. Bando's going to let him go back past Bando on a completely different strategy. So nice bit of racecraft for Bando, deciding he's not in this fight, just let JCol back through. But JCol, I'm sure, will be not best pleased with the German about that. I think he was shown not too much exit room for that corner, and then unfortunately just tried to stay with it, put himself around, but now puts Hercules up into the 3rd position. Rudy unable to to get within that 1 second window, so he's now 1.3 behind. JCol 3.4.
Yeah, that's incredibly frustrating, isn't it, for JCol? Let's hope that he can just keep his head down now and doesn't let that beat him up, and he could just focus on maybe trying to catch up with his teammate at least. It's about 3.5 seconds to his teammate, so yeah, that should be his goal now, to try and catch him up. But Bando Biz, like you say, on a completely different strategy. He's starting to get under pressure from Foxy Red, TT Nathan and Schofield, so I imagine once Foxy gets close enough, this could possibly be quite an easy move for Foxy. And I'm imagining Foxy, now he can see JCol ahead of Bando, will be eyeing up potentially a 5th place here this evening, as Foxy Red now with DRS, but Bando also has DRS, but surely Foxy can get the move done. It's going to be tough because they've both got DRS, but Bando not able to do it, and Foxy does promote himself into 6th place. So Foxy now definitely has his sights on that 5th place.
Yeah, Foxy getting past the Barbadian driver, Bando Biz, and gets up into 6th place. Bando, as we were saying, on a different strategy. He'll be coming into the box very, very shortly. In fact, he might be diving in right now for a set of brand new soft tyres. So he probably hoped for a late safety car to give him a free pit stop, but now up into 6th place goes Foxy Red, and chasing JCol. Now this is something that we saw last week, Sad. JCol and Foxy Red, who finished 1st and 2nd in the Australian Grand Prix. So Foxy Red will think, well, I'll take your position this time and finish ahead of you, because Foxy, good start to the season so far. Picked up a podium last time around. Maybe not the result he wanted back in Mexico, but showing some promise, which is good to see from the Alfa Romeo driver. He always likes to remind us, former champion here in the Equal Performance F1 League days, back in, I believe it's season 3 a while ago, but definitely always a candidate for a decent result in F1.
Most definitely, and I imagine, will be aware that JCol has a time penalty as well, so if Foxy Red can keep it clean and keep within JCol, then that's to his advantage. But that's one thing I wanted to point out as well, Gareth, is there's not been many penalties handed out, really. I'll be honest, I expected a few more. This is a sort of track that you do get, and maybe within this last 9 laps we might see a few more, but they've all drove pretty well and pretty clean so far. We've seen the odd little skirmish here and there, but just I'm keeping on board with Foxy Red, and he's just reeling in JCol. It's down to 0.4 of a second now. JCol a bit wobbly out of exit there, so that's going to encourage Foxy Red. He'll be thinking JCol's tyres might be getting a bit hot there, so Foxy Red, if he stays within 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second now, going into the next DRS zone, surely it's going to be an easy pass.
And up ahead, I believe there's a game of chess that's being played out between Beastas and Harry. Beastas just sitting behind Harry and just biding his time, it seems. But not Foxy. He wants to get the move done on JCol. DRS open and a little battery and down the inside. Will he get the move done? No, JCol's going to defend at the final stages, and Foxy's going to try and get the under and over. You think he could try and get a slightly better exit, but looks as though JCol's going to hold on to the position. But yeah, Beastas and Harry just holding position at the moment. Beastas thinking he's quite happy to sit in the DRS of Harry. He's been pulling out of the slipstream down the straights to make sure he doesn't have too much overspeed. So you've got to think that Beastas will be sitting there thinking about perhaps a late overtake with maybe 1 or 2 laps left to go if he can stay within this half-second window of Harry.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how Beastas plays this. And Hercules, Harry's teammate, is slowly reeling in these two. It was about 6.4 seconds. It's down to 5.8 seconds now. So Rudy has also fallen away from Hercules as well. So Rudy in a bit of a race of his own right now. He's keeping it tidy, keeping it clean. But right now, that fourth place is looking like about the maximum he can do unless anything happens further ahead, with JCol still defending nicely from Foxy Red for 5th and 6th.
As Paul Racetech picks up another time penalty, running wide there on the exit of turn 7. Up ahead, Beastas right in the slipstream with Harry, so I thought he might wait until the end of this one, but looks as though he's going to go around the outside of the Renault. The Renault getting very close to the AlphaTauri, but swapping positions for the lead on lap 20 of 27. Beastas is going to go slow into turn 2, but it looks as though he's going to hold the lead. Tries to dart out of the slipstream, but perhaps even compromise his line a little bit into turn 3 there. But yeah, good move, using a bit of DRS, using a bit of battery, up into the lead. So a bit of cat and mouse being played between the pair of them as Nathan picks up 3 seconds in 7th position. So Harry and Beastas swap positions. Bando Biz, there we go, setting the fastest lap, a 1:32.913. So that would gain him, if he manages to get to the end of this one, inside the top 10, which he's currently doing. Would get him an extra championship point, which I'm sure the Racing Point driver will be very, very happy with. He's the only one that's decided to go for the alternate strategy from the mediums onto the softs. I'm sure the guys Burmeister would have been doing the same thing if he hadn't had the contact that he had that's unfortunately ended his evening early. But of course, plenty more to be done this evening, plenty more racing to be had. We could even have a very late safety car. We've seen it throughout last week across multiple leagues. But here comes Foxy on JCol. Will he get the move done as they go down towards the braking zone at the end of the second DRS straight? Not quite this time. He's probably going to think about lining him up down the main straight. Foxy Red holding on to the back of JCol. JCol currently in 5th place after that contact with Hercules has dropped him down from a potential podium all the way down into 5th and well off the back of his teammate Rudy as TL44S picks up a time penalty. He's not having a great evening, 13th position, and unfortunately, Sab, after we touted him as being our breakout star this season, it's not really come to fruition for Tom so far.
No, I think he's probably cursing us with every lap that this goes on. It's just been an absolute nightmare, unfortunately, for TL44S, and he's fair play to him for trying to see this out and just see what he can pick up, but at the moment it looks increasingly unlikely he's going to be picking up any points. I'm keeping an eye. This battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th is absolutely fascinating, and what's going to probably end up hurting the most is Nathan is sat currently on 6 seconds worth of time penalty. So unfortunately for Nathan, he sticks within this battle of cars. He's just going to find himself falling out of it at the end because the likes of Schofield and Foxy Red around him haven't got any penalties. Excuse me, I haven't got any penalties at the moment. So Schofield is trying his hardest to get back past Nathan, but because Nathan has got that DRS on Foxy, Nathan's been able to defend against him.
Yeah, and what we also can't ignore is currently, and I won't hold my breath because of course there's still plenty more racing left to go, Rudy is within striking distance of Hercules for that 3rd place. So Rudy on currently, if he can hold this 2.6, 2.5 second gap that he's got between himself and Hercules, even if he can bring it back towards himself later on in the race, he can potentially find himself on the podium for the 2nd week running. So a good race once again for the Dutchman, currently in 4th place. Behind, you can, as you said, Foxy Red currently still holding out hope for getting past JCol on circuit, not on penalties, but it looks as though he's going to be much closer this time around. You can see battery being used before we get to the DRS line. In fact, he's using a lot of it. He wants to get this move done, and here we go as the Alfa Romeo takes the inside line. We've got a yellow in sector 3. It's Paul Racetech in the Ferrari that's lost it on the entry to turn 15. Looks as though he's managed to get it back underway, but yeah, up into 5th position goes Foxy Red. JCol's going to try and come back down the inside of him. This is going to be close. He's going to get some oversteer on exit, and they're going to go side by side into turn 4, but it looks as though all things clean. Just a little bit of a kiss between Pirelli on either side, but Foxy Red holding on to the position. JCol's going to try and go up and under, and they're still side by side, but it looks as though surely the Alfa Romeo has got the inside line and does hold the position. So good move there from the pair of them, holding on to position side by side in Russia. Not something you see too often.
That was good battling, that. And just further behind, Foxy's teammate also decided he's had enough of being stuck behind a car, and he got past Nathan. That was a nice move from Schofield. So Schofield are copying his teammate and getting the move done. So now Schofield's next job is to try and get past JCol, but JCol is deciding, no, I've not given up on this place just yet, and he's really keeping Foxy under pressure, and I can't imagine that this battle is, they're going to keep the hold of their places from now till the end of the race. I'm sure they're going to be swapping a few more places from now till the end of the race, where these four, I should say, are going on.
Absolutely, we have 5 laps left to go. We're on lap 23 of 27 here for the third round of the season, the IRL F3. I was there with. I'm in last week F1 League. There we go. The Premier class, the top guys on the PlayStation. My name is Gareth Hall, joined as always by Alan Sabatino. You can find me on Twitter at GT2_driving. You can find Sab at Alan Sabatino. You can find Invictus Racing League by going to at InvictusRL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course go to InvictusRacingLeague.com to find all about the league, whether it be the sign-up process or of course the standings and all about Invictus, how you can get involved, get yourself on the grid. And there is that penalty for Rudy. We were saying that not to hold your breath, and Rudy, well, he's not only dropped outside that 3-second window, but he picks up 3 seconds to his name. So Foxy Red at the moment, if he can push on a little bit now, he can find himself perhaps even getting up into 4th position.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Foxy, he's most of his racing is having to be done by defending from JCol, and it's probably losing him some time. Foxy is slowly starting to reel in Rudy, so who knows what happens. But further ahead, just going back to the front, how do you see this battle between Beastas and Harry playing out? Because Harry's still within the DRS, not made a move yet. Is he saving the battery? Is he saving his tyres for one last move? Or do you reckon Beastas has got enough in him to keep Harry behind him?
I think with Beastas has used a lot more battery than Harry, just having a quick look over, but going very defensive. But if I was Harry, I'd be playing it smart here. I'd be waiting until the last moment. Wait for lap 26, lap 27 for Harry to make a move, because you don't want to give your opponent the opportunity of coming back at you with this long straight from with a slight kink from the exit of the final corner down towards turn 2. So Harry, I'm sure, will be waiting to save or waiting to utilise that extra battery that he's got over the AlphaTauri ahead until the final stages. But Beastas wanting to pick up his first victory in the F1 League. Of course, I believe he picked up a couple in the F2 League last season. He's made the jump up to no assists in the F1 League. And, well, at the moment, he's standing on the top step of the podium, but all to play for on lap 24 and about a half of 27 here of the F1 League on the PlayStation. Of course, plenty more racing left to come this week, so make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking the red button just down below. And if you're enjoying it, make sure you press the like button. Really does help us out. We always target 20 likes on the video as just a bit of a personal goal for us and for the league. But if you do see that number above below to you, why not help us out? Press the thumbs up button and help out the league to grow and push through the YouTube algorithm to get to some new casual viewers, get people more involved and more noticed with, more in the know about IRL. But this evening, we are watching the battle between Beastas and Harry Bell 25, the Leonis driver, currently coming around the final corner, onto lap 25 to 27, Sab. So I was just saying, how is Harry just going to wait until the final stages of this one? You can see he's used a little bit of battery on that last lap, but Beastas quite happy at the moment with this 6/10 gap, it seems.
Yeah, it looks like, that is really desperately unfortunate for Nathan. That's up to 9 seconds worth of penalties now, and this could really start to hurt him with Finn Marcus only 10 seconds behind. But going back to the front, Beastas is playing this nicely, isn't he? He's not letting Harry get too close to him, have a sniff an opportunity, and this is all playing in the hands of Beastas. Laps are getting wiped away from this race now, so there's only a couple of laps left. Harry needs to start getting a move on, because he'll soon see the checker flag and it's all over. So Beastas playing it sensible at the minute, and this is the Beastas we've seen so far, and was desperately unlucky last week. The pace was there from Beastas, who unfortunately was taken out of the race in the end. But Beastas once again showing us his pace, and here Harry, 0.3 of a second now. Yeah, he's not able to get close enough. He gets within 3/10, but Bisas has just got enough legs, and I believe I've just seen JCol, Gareth, pick up another time penalty, which could really hurt him for points.
Yeah, 6 seconds of time penalties for JCol, your current championship leader, by just a couple of points. The man currently sitting in second chip position in that championship is the guy that we're watching in the Renault, and he will be thinking about potentially a move. We're on lap 26 of 27. Is this the lap where Harry starts to put the pressure on Beastas? You can see he's still sitting on a lot of battery usage, but not closing in. So you can see it's going to all come down to the final lap, it seems, between Harry and Beastas behind. You can see the movers and shakers. The top three have all made up one position. That's due to the fact that we've lost pole sitter DXT Monster Blue from the race. Rudy, 3 positions. He's made the move up. Foxy Red, a mammoth, 9 positions. Great race so far from Foxy. He's not really. Oh, as Beastas has got all out of shape on exit there, and that's going to open the door for Harry. Harry's swarming across the back end of him, but not able to get the move done. Beastas, you can see, probably, as we've talked about previously, mirror driving. Is purely focused on what's happening in his mirrors. He doesn't want to pick up any late penalties. We're on lap 26 of 27. Just about 4 miles left to go, and well, probably about roughly, shall we say, about 24 corners left to go for Beastas to hold on to his first win here in IRL F1. Harry, however, will have something to say about it. He's now within 0.4 of a second, and with a hell of a lot of battery to go on that Renault, Beastas could come under real threat in just about 20 seconds time when they exit turn 1.
I flicked on board with Beastas and I sat forward when that happened. I thought he was into the wall. He held that incredibly well, and I'm sure Harry would have been eager and twitching in his seat trying to get past that to AlphaTauri, but Beastas did well to hold on there, and Bando Biz has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So we're crossing the line, Gareth, with this being the final lap. Beastas going really defensive once again. It looks like Beastas has recovered from that incident, but surely Harry has got to go for it now. Here we go, 0.3 of a second. Can he get the move done on Beastas? Beastas holding inside. Harry's got to go round the outside. Beastas is going to push him out wide. Beastas has pushed Harry out wide. He's got to lift off there, Harry. And Beastas is defending desperately here. Can Harry get the move done? It's all or nothing now for the Renault driver. Trying round the outside. Beastas defending for all he's worth here. I thought he'd going to pick up a penalty there where he jumped over that curb. But Harry now down the inside. Can Beastas hold it still? Wow. These guys are still fighting, still holding on. Beastas, superb defending. Harry really chomping at the hip bit here, Gareth. Oh, Beastas. Oh, it's Harry's. Oh, Jesus. I thought Harry had lost it there, Gareth. He was very twitchy there, and that might give Beastas an opportunity just to try and pull away on this last DRS straight.
Last lap battle for the race win here in the F1 League, the third round of the season, the IRL F1 League. Here comes Harry for the final time. This race, he's going to go to the inside line. Beastas thought he was going to go to the outside. Will Harry get the move? He's down the inside. It looks as though he's got the position. What a move there from Harry BR25. Will Beastas be able to come back at him? Beastas is going to be pushing him over through the final 4 corners of this one, but Harry waited until the very last overtaking option. There's no real chance for Beastas to come back at him unless he uses everything he's got into the penultimate corner. Harry's going to cover the inside line going into the penultimate corner, and they're going to come across the line astern. Who's going to get the move out of it? In fact, Beastas is going to go around the outside. They're going to go line across straight to line. But there we go. Harry takes it by 37 thousandths of a second across the line. What? My voice even broke. I thought, well, I couldn't work out what's going to happen. What an ending to that one. Hercules takes third position in his return to F1. Rudy in 4th. JCol is going to come across the line, not happy in 5th. In fact, he's going to drop down on penalties. Nathan drops to 8th position. Will he drop behind Finn Marcus, who's going to pick up some points? Great race for Marcus to get some decent points this evening. Bando, he does recover 10th position and the fastest lap of the race. Andre and Paul Racek TL44S, but what an end to that race. 37 thousandths of a second splits the pair of them. Beastas trying to go around the outside at the final corner, lit the tyres up, went spearing into the side pod of that Renault, but wow, what an ending.
I was out my seat. I thought surely Beastas can't do it here, and he almost did. 37 thousandths of a second. But I don't think we've had a race that close for a very, very long time, if ever. That was incredible, and a huge congratulations for Harry. I imagine Beastas would be so frustrated he's lost it like that, but these guys drove absolutely superbly. They banged wheels, they gave each other enough respect, and yeah, the fireworks certainly come out on that final lap, that's for sure. Wow. that was impressive stuff there, as we once again see Foxy Red picking up driver of the day, and I probably have to agree with that. Foxy Red has had a stellar evening as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not too many times I'm lost for words when commentating, but Bisas and Harry sure did put on a show tonight in that final lap battle, and well, it was all a bit cagey for what seemed like 90% of that race, but that last lap came alive like nothing we've seen for a long, long time, and maybe not since we saw back in the F1 League a few seasons ago, where we saw the gap of victory at 5 or 15 thousandths of a second. I believe this is probably the second closest we've seen in quite a while. 37 thousandths of a second splits your top two drivers in the Premier class here in the Invictus Racing League F1 League on the PlayStation. But Harry BR25 picks up his second win on the season. There you go, margin of victory absolutely minimal, but in 43 minutes and 8 seconds he takes it ever so slimly ahead of Beastas in second. Hercules, his return to Invictus sees him on the podium in third place, with Rudy in fourth, Foxy Red 2000 in fifth, with Scopefielder in sixth, JCol, unfortunate race for him, going down the order, 6 seconds time penalties and that contact with Hercules sees him finish down in seventh, with TTG Nathan eighth, Finn Marcus in ninth, and Bando Biz racking out the top 10, and in fact TL4S managed to take the fastest lap off him, so it's only the singular point for Bando, but good race there from a number of the drivers. Andre, Paul Racetech and TL4S finishing, and unfortunately we lost Burmeister and we lost Roy Boy earlier on in that one as well. But Sab, cracking race. We don't often see one at Russia. It was a bit of a chess game, and we'll find out. But well, I'm sure we'll find out from the three of them how they found it. But yeah, it was. It all came alive in that last 1 minute and 30 seconds.
I know it was. It was unbelievable. I can't imagine Harry would have been too impressed about having to fight right at the death like that, but he did get it in the end. And that is one last final lap I definitely recommend to watch back if you haven't seen it. That was absolutely superb. We've got our top three in the podium chat with us. Would you like me to lead off with the questions this week, Gareth? I believe it's me this week, so I'll just ask the guys quickly to make sure that your mics are able to be shared so everybody listening can hear your voices. And we'll start with Harry. Wow, what about that ending, Harry?
Yeah, never in doubt, was it? I can't believe it. I don't think I've had a finish like that on 5 lappers. Never mind a league race, but yeah, crazy finish.
Was your plan to try and attack Beastas towards the end like that? Was you biding your time, saving some battery, and then potentially attacking him at the end, and hoping that it was going to be a lot cleaner and easier for you? Or was it just a case of Beastas was defending really well?
Yeah, absolutely. He defended really well. I mean, I knew maybe the last 5 laps his rear light was flashing, so I knew he had probably at the end of the straight it's less than 10% battery, which obviously wasn't ideal for him, and I had quite a bit of battery, so I was like, if I could just stay close enough into the last 3 laps, and then because I was sort of dropping back a little bit, with the last 3 laps I was able to get just a little bit closer using a bit more battery each lap, and then I kind of hoped to have the overtake done before the last lap, but I didn't get a good run for the last 2 corners starting the last lap, so I wasn't quite close enough into turn 1 and 2, went side by side, and then also the rest of the lap, I can't even remember what happened, but I mean, I've got to say, I know Beast probably a little bit disappointed, but he was much quicker than me, and he looked after his tyres, I think, much better on those meetings. He did a really good race, and I'm quite glad. I took him out when I spun on my own in Australia, so I'm really glad he's at least got a second place, and he probably deserved to win on raw pace. So yeah.
Well, nice words there from you, Harry. And moving on to second place, Beastas. I can imagine you're incredibly frustrated to lose the race like that. You've had a superb race this evening. Your pace was phenomenal, and I think second place doesn't always feel great after that. But how does it feel for you now, sat here?
To be honest, that was probably one of the best battles I've ever had on this game, at least. Wow, I was literally winning the second of Harry the whole race. And for a finish like that, it's crazy. And after last week, to be honest, getting a second place isn't too bad. Especially where I'm in the standings right now.
Yeah, last week I was really gutted for you. I'll be honest, but you've shown great pace this season so far, and I'm sure this season you will eventually pick up a win here based on that pace. So that is a superb battle with you and Harry this evening. So congratulations on that, and a great second place for you this evening. And moving on to third place, a welcome back to MNT Hercules. Good evening. How was the racing for you this evening? That virtual safety car looked like it really upset you racing in the end, because it made you fall away from the pack at the front.
Yeah, it obviously did a bit, but I still think the two who are in front of me had the better pace in the race. So I couldn't really catch up when I was in free air. So I know I had a little battle with the two Red Bulls. And yeah, that was pretty much my race. A bit, yeah, trying to not get any penalties, so driving a bit slow around there. But yeah, I think it's a good comeback, and it feels good to be here.
Well, it's great to have you back, and it's a superb comeback to get yourself on the podium. And just moving back to Harry for one last question, we move on to Japan next week. This has been a great evening's racing for you and your team, both getting on the podium. How are you preparing going forward into Japan?
Just probably the same. Obviously, try and do a little bit. But obviously, got realistic performance next. So obviously, maybe a couple more laps around Russia first. And then yeah, just try and do the same. Just try and be consistent. Obviously, I made a silly mistake in Australia, and yeah, obviously it's nice. And obviously Scott will be disappointed if I don't shout him out. So I really miss Scott, and obviously it's a shame to lose him from the league. And I'm sure we'll see him back in Invictus face soon. But yeah.
Well, cheers for that, Harry. Cheers for that, Beastas and Hercules. You may leave now if you wish. And Gareth, if we have another final lap, 2 laps next week in Japan, I can't wait.
Absolutely so, and well, if Harry keeps playing the game until 4 a.m. and sweating it like he does, then we should be in store for some brilliant this season. It's been a great last lap. I mean, it was such a cagey fight between the pair of them, Beastas and Harry, really going toe to toe. It was great fun to watch. But yeah, Harry just snatching it on the line. Beastas tried to go around the outside, but yeah, what a result! I think I was just trying to check quickly some of my records that I've got in my notes. I think that is the second closest win margin, or second closest winning margin that we've had in Invictus history. So 37 thousandths of a second shows you just how close it was in the final stages of this one. But thanks for joining us for the third round of the season, guys. Of course, remember there's plenty more racing from Invictus this week. You can join us tomorrow night for the F2 League on the PlayStation with Phil and Malc in the commentary box. Of course, the Xbox will be streaming their point of view as well over on twitch.tv. Wednesday evening, PC League F1 with JCol and Dan Vatefield in the commentary box. Fantastic commentary pairing. And equally the PlayStation F3 and F4 leagues. And Thursday night is Realistic Performance League night. So you can come join Tim and Malc in the commentary box for PlayStation. The Xbox will also be racing their Performance League race on Thursday evening before we head to the land of the rising sun for the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka for round 4 next week. But thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully you've enjoyed this evening's race, and if you have, make sure of course you press like on the video. It really does help us out. Subscribe if you're new, subscribe if you're not already. We know that at least 40% of you that watch the videos don't, so make sure you come and help us out. But yeah, it's been great to have you here. Great to hear from you guys chatting away in the comments as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed the race. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream, and we'll see you in 7 days' time in Japan. Have a great week.